This is the Link Sample Roaster by Nucleus Coffee Tools. In this video, I'm going to do a full unboxing of a new Link. Then we're going to do a demo to see how it works, and that'll be this video. So let's start out right away with the unboxing. As you can tell, the Link comes in this travel case. It's very sturdy. It has these locks on lock clasps, because one of the things that Link tries to promote is that, or that Nucleus tries to promote about the Link, is that it's really good for travel. It's very versatile, it's very compact, and it travels really well. So for green buyers or coffee farmers who might need to set this up in different places, it's not light, but it travels relatively well. It's very secure in this clamshell, in this case. So let's get into opening it up. Let me see if I can do it upside down. There we go. Oh, clasps. Ooh, beautiful. So it comes beautifully nestled inside this case, where you have the roaster itself right here, and then this is the roasting top, the kind of, and it's not really a lid, but the top to the roasting chamber. Then you have a dosing cup, we have a density tube, and we have scales, accessories. I think there's some cords and things so that you can connect it to your computer and whatnot. So let's take these things out one by one and check it out. So this is the roaster, the roasting chamber. It's not too heavy, but it feels relatively, it's definitely solid. This is made with metal, and then you can see in here, that is the roasting chamber. So that's where the beans go when you are roasting them. This one comes with a 110 volt, but I think they have a 220 as well. So you can, no matter where you are in the world, it will work with your electricity if you order the correct version. On the side, we have the power button, we have the display and controls, and around the back, there is a USB-C port where you can plug it in, again, to a computer. You can see also on the inside here, can you see, there is a thermocouple, a temperature probe right there. That is what's reading the temperature of the beans or of the drum when it is roasting. So when we get to a roast curve, that is what is taking the temperature readings. So that's the body of the roaster. Then we have the top right here, and this is glass, so I'm going to be very careful with it. This sits right on top of the body itself. There is, on the bottom here, it's a hexagon, octagon, looks like, around, you can see each of these kind of edges, and that fits together with the octagon on top there. So, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's 8 size, octagon. So it doesn't, it rests in place, but it doesn't click and secure, it doesn't lock in place. It just rests in place when you set the top onto the base. The octagons nestle within each other so that it's secure. Then this top also has a top to the top. You can see there's kind of some mesh screen on there. And you can also see that it says Cafe Logic. So the original Link, or what the kind of proto Link, was by Cafe Logic. Then Nucleus Coffee Tools worked with Cafe Logic to develop the Link. So that's where we're at. So this stops chaff from exiting kind of the top of the roaster. And then there's this other bit, which is kind of the chaff collection area, the chaff catch, that sits on the top as well. You'll see this in action during the demo, but this lid does lock in so that it doesn't kind of fly off or come off during roasting. So yeah, this is the roaster itself. This is what it looks like, configuration, etc. Then we have a dosing cup that says Link on it in order to make dosing easy, in order to put the coffee into the machine. We also have a density tube, and this is crucial because, you can see it says Link as well. This is crucial because the Nucleus LINK works on density. So the profiles, they have a profile library, a very extensive profile library that can roast coffee for filter, espresso, omni-roast, cupping. I think those are the 4 categories. And it's based off of, the curves that it generates is based off of the density of the coffee that you're roasting. So this is the density tube. Again, you'll see this when we get into the demo, but this helps get the density of the coffee. Then what else do we have in here? We have a little coffee tray. We have an instruction guide. We have the cable to plug it into a computer. It has a USB-C and a USB, so I'll have to get a converter because my computer works with USB-C, but we'll make it work. We'll figure it out. And yeah, that's the unboxing. It's pretty simple. This is one thing that I like about the Link, is that there aren't a bunch of pieces. This is basically it. I'm going to take a little read of the instruction manual. Let's just take a look here. So there's some safety warnings. I have used the Link before, but I've never used one from brand new. I'm actually very excited to try a super new one. All right, so the instructions give some safety guidelines, give basics, tell you about profiles, more information, and what to do at the end of the roast, how to empty the chaff collector, etc. And it has a little like diagram of the machine and explanation of the screen, the control screen there on the top. So let's give this thing a spin. I'm going to bring it outside because I don't want to do sample roasting in the house. Last time I did that with the Ikawa, I set off my smoke alarm. I didn't start a fire, but the smoke alarm definitely went off and my house smelled like chaff for multiple days. We don't want to repetition of that. So let's move to outside and then we'll give this thing a try. All right, let's go. And welcome to my back porch where we will be sample roasting and demoing the Link roaster. So I have it plugged in, and the first thing that we do is turn it on. The power button is over here. So I'll turn that on. And it says ready. It is ready to go. The nice thing about the Nucleus LINK, one of the nice things, is that there is no warm-up protocol. You put the beans in and it starts from room temperature in order to roast the coffee. Link has said, the developers of Link have said that this is on purpose because it allows you to cup the coffee and taste the coffee within a shorter window post-roast. A lot of times after you roast coffee, you need to wait a week or so for the coffee to degas, to have it let go of some of its carbon dioxide in order to access the flavors within. But with this no warm-up protocol, it allows you to cup coffee way faster after roasting. So let's get going. First thing, I have it set up. I mean, this is program settings. Again, this is the first time I'm using this particular machine, so we'll go for it. Nucleus LINK comes with an app. Let's get this up. And it is the Link app. This is what it looks like here. as I mentioned before, Link has a bunch of preset profiles. The machine itself comes with those pre-programmed profiles already like in the unit. If you can use a computer, you can hook it up to a computer and design your own profiles if you want to. You just need to then plug it in. I'm gonna go without a computer. I'm gonna use their preset profiles for a coffee that I've already chosen, just so that we, again, can kind of like start from scratch, start from straight out the box demo of this machine. So we have the app here, welcome, choose to get started. So we want to do the profile selector because I want to choose a profile for this coffee that I'm going to roast. Select to get started, new sample entry, advanced dial-in, manual profile selection, or roast plan overview. We're gonna do new sample entry. And I'm going to, how am I gonna wanna do this? I'm going to probably brew this coffee for drinking tomorrow on filter. So let's click filter roast. But as I think I mentioned before, they have 4 kind of profile groups, profile families: cupping, omni, filter, and espresso. And they've chosen different ranges of development time, different temperatures to achieve each of these overall plans. You can, of course, if you roast something on filter, you can put that in an espresso machine. That's fine. Or if you roast something on omni, you can cup it if you wanted to. These are just general guidelines based on what the team at Nucleus has observed and has created for this machine. So we're gonna go filter. The first thing that we need to do is get the density of the coffee we're gonna be roasting. So in order to do that, I saw the Nucleus guys do this at SCA Expo. So I'm just going to like mirror what they did and show you what they did in order to get the density. So that is where this density tube comes in. Put it on your scale, tear your scale out, so that's 0, and then you can put your density tube into a tray to stop spillover. Then take your green coffee that you're going to roast and pour it into the tube. And it's fine if you spill over a little bit, because then what you're going to do is take the lid and kind of even it out. Make sure that you want to get rid of any beans that are kind of sticking over the top, sticking up over the lid. The way that they showed me is to kind of start it at an angle and then go down. So we're gonna like that, and that is pretty well full. Then we put the density tube back on our scale to see what our measurement, what our density measurement is, and it's 67.7 grams. So in the density tube is 67.7 grams. I'm gonna add that into app right here. Boink. 67.7. Great. And process, this is a honey processed coffee. So then you go into process, hit honey, and the variety, you don't actually have to put in the variety. I don't actually know if their system takes variety into account, but this is a Caturon. I'm gonna put it in just to remember. So then we click done. We've already told it that we want to do a filter roast. We put all this information in, and it spits out a recommendation of how to set up this machine now to load the profile that we want. So 204.5 from filter B with a suggested development of 10 to 13%, and we want to increase the fan by 0.005. First crack should happen around 6:50 or 7 minutes, 10 seconds. One thing about the Nucleus Link is that it does not have automatic first crack detection, which is fine. You just have to pay attention to the roast so that it doesn't end up roasting into oblivion. So we're going to program this into the machine. One other thing to note is that this tube is not 100 grams. This machine can roast up to 100 grams. And most often, I believe the profiles that they have on the app and programmed into the machine itself are based on 100 gram roasts. This, as we just measured is 67.7 grams. So we're gonna need to top this off. So don't put this directly into here just yet, right after you take the density measurement. We want to make sure that we have 100 grams when we're roasting. But before we do that, we're going to, oh, I waited too long. It says, please turn me off now. This is honestly one of the most endearing things about this machine. I love how it talks to you. Okay, back to it. We're not gonna turn you off because we need to roast with you. So you click the kind of double line over here, and we're going to press the forward button for profile packs. We want to, right now it's on A. We want to get filter B. We're going to click forward. It's loading the pack now. Then I click this button here. We want to get it up to 204.5. Amazing. Then again, we click play and it's loading. All right, it is ready to go. So let's get 100 grams here. I don't have enough table space for this. All right, so we're gonna get 100 grams. All right, 100 grams there. Then the easiest way to do this is to just lift this off, use the dosing cup, pour it right in. Easy peasy. And we put that back on there. And I'm gonna press play, I believe. Okay, and then we can select fan adjustment. We wanna up it by 0.005, and we're going to click start. And then we select the load size, it is 100 grams, and then we select start. Great. And now we're off to the roasting. Now we're gonna wait 6.5 or so minutes as the roast goes. This says the total roast time. This, I believe, is the desired development percentage, but I think we want it decreased. Ah, yes, okay. So I'm taking down the development percentage because we only want 10 to 13%. I'm gonna go to 12. Okay. If you wanna end the roast early, you have to click play and then the negative button. We don't wanna end. So here we are, back at our thing. This, I believe, is set to Celsius right now. I will probably go in later and change it to Fahrenheit. Or maybe I won't. I don't know. I don't know if you can. Oh, look at that. If you click on the Filter B profile, it has like a little info. Filter B is ideal to achieve body, weight, and texture-driven filter coffees suited for average to high-density honey, anaerobic wash, and decaf coffees, producing a viscous and weighted texture. Default roast settings, first crack is at 7 minutes, DTR is at 10, total roast time is around 7:47. Let's see if I can give you a little look inside the roast chamber and show you what is happening over here and here. So this is what it looks like as it's roasting. It's spinning and also lofting a little bit. You can see some chaff being blown off. That goes up here and into the chaff collection chamber. One thing that's really important is to make sure that you are emptying the chaff collection area every single time after every single roast. It's a very small chaff collection area, as you saw earlier, and the chaff can really build up, which can cause a fire hazard. So we want to minimize that as much as possible. So we're gonna change the chaff, or really just dump the chaff every single time we do this roasting. And yeah, we're 3 minutes in, another 3 minutes until we have probably first crack. I'm going to get some video so that there's more interesting stuff to see. This part is, there's not a whole lot to do during this part. When I worked at Black and White, one thing that they do is they have 3 of the Nucleus Links in their sample lab. And so one person will often be running 3 machines at a time on a differential of about a minute or so. The, again, crucial part is that you're listening for first crack. You have to indicate first crack on this machine in order for it to roast properly. But there you can see. I wish I had another tripod. I did not come prepared for this demo. But you can see the color is changing there. It's a whole lot more brown, a whole lot less green. This coffee also might crack a little early because it's relatively old and kind of low moisture at this point. So we'll see what happens here. Again, you can see more chaff coming off and blowing up into that top area. One thing that I wish the Link had was a connection to the phone via a roast, like a roast profiling software. Again, you can connect your computer and have the roast profiling software on your computer, but I don't always want to cart my computer out. Also, as you can see, when I'm on my back porch, I don't really have that much space. I could bring out another stool or another chair, but I don't have a whole lot of space for more things. I don't have surface area. So I really wish that the Link had a connection to the phone so I could see the roast as it was going. Otherwise, you're kind of just roasting. I don't want to say roasting blind. I want to pay attention when first crack happens. I don't want to say roasting like totally, you know, without any knowledge, because the Nucleus team has really dialed in these profiles. They're really solid. But I'm the kind of person, I like to see what's happening, even if I'm not going to change it, even if I'm not going to adjust the profile at all. I still really like to see what the profile looks like so that when I cup later, I can associate the curve with the profile. That's one way to kind of do sample roasting. I mean, and that's if I'm sample roasting in order to develop my like roasting knowledge, roasting skill. A lot of people cup just to taste the coffees. That's what coffee buyers do. They cup in order to decide what coffees they're going to buy. I'm not a coffee buyer, so that's not really applicable to me. I primarily use sample roasters to, if coffee farmer friends send me, well, it started going into cool down mode. It looks like we may have missed first crack. I didn't really hear it. So I think this coffee is just really low moisture and maybe we didn't have a rolling first crack. But that's good to know that if you do accidentally forget your machine or you walk away and don't come back in time for it to, in time to indicate when first crack happens, it's not going to end up burning your roastery down. So that's great. Fail safe. We love it. So now it is cooling down relatively rapidly. You can see here that the clock here is now counting up, which is the cooling time. We reached 12% development. This is the temperature again in Celsius, and we have it set to the 204.5 filter B profile. This is what it looks like now. The volume increased significantly, as you can see. The beans were down at the quite bottom of the chamber initially, but now they fill up the entire chamber, and they're being tossed around quite a lot more because they are lower weight. Higher volume, lower weight. That's what happens during coffee roasting. Love it. Love to see it. Okay. And now we just wait for it to finish cool down. We're at 152, 153 now. Also, another thing to note, this is really, really hot. This part of the machine doesn't get too hot, but it's still not something you really want to be touching a lot. But the upper chamber gets very hot. So be careful when you're dealing with this. I mean, I would recommend even getting like heat resistant gloves if you're going to be turning over batch by batch by batch. I also would recommend not doing it on a very small surface area like this. If you have the option of having a bigger tabletop, it's just a lot more user-friendly. I do, however, don't recommend doing this in an unventilated indoor space because, I mean, I can smell it right now. The smell of roasted coffee, of chaff, is quite strong, and that's why I'm doing it outside, because I don't want my house to smell like this for the rest of the week. But we're getting there. So cool down so far. I've got a lot of mosquitoes outside. That's the other hazard of outdoor roasting. 3 minutes. You'll see in just a second, the dismount of the Link is quite inelegant. It's probably my least favorite feature of the Link. However, a lot of people, the Link is, as far as I am aware, there we go. Amazing. All right, 6 minutes and 34 seconds total roast time, 3 minutes 52 seconds cool down. I think this is the end temperature, 212.6 degrees Celsius. Back to what I was saying before, the Link is, as far as I understand, as far as I'm aware, the most affordable sample roaster of its caliber on the market. And in order to do that, they had to kind of make some concessions. And one of the concessions is that it doesn't have a nice, elegant, clean way to expel the beans from the roasting chamber. You just have to pick it up and dump them out. So we're gonna do that here. So we lift this off. Again, that's hot, so just be careful. Then I've seen people do this in different ways. Sometimes people use the dosing cup, put it over the top, and then dump it out. I feel about this the way I feel about inverted AeroPresses, in that I'm like, I know that something's gonna go wrong as I'm flipping it up and things are gonna spill everywhere. So what I prefer to do is take the tray, the coffee tray, set it down, and just tilt it over and get all of those beans out. Ta-da! And then you have a batch of roasted coffee. Wow, beautiful. It actually looks quite good for being kind of relatively old green and for kind of missing the mark of first crack. I think we missed first crack because it suggested or predicted that we would hit it around 6 minutes and 50 to 7:10. I think we sped through that pretty quickly, probably because the beans are low moisture. But I don't know. This is, again, I wish I had an easier way to look at the graph of this so I knew exactly what happened during the roast. I will be setting this up and linking it to my computer in the future so I can check and reference that. But again, I just wanted to do this demo kind of straight out of the box and see what happened. So that's what happened. And remember to dump the chaff. So if you open this, spin it open, and you can see the chaff there in the chaff collection tray. So I'm gonna dump this before I do another batch, but that's pretty much it. I'm excited to try this coffee tomorrow. I'm excited to roast more on the Link. I'm excited to hook it up to my computer and see what I can see, learn what I can learn from that. If you have questions or comments, tips, tricks with the Link, let me know in the comments below, and happy roasting. Cheers.